in the implementation of this law, it is guaranteed on the part of the business owners that they will have lower costs in all of their commodities. However, we do not have the assurance that when they're going to sell it in retail for the consumers, they are selling it in our advantage. And everyone that this is not to campaign Bam Aquino or to discredit Bam Aquino. I believe these bills are really good. This is for the benefit of everyone. Okay? However, good day everyone, and welcome back to my channel, Psychology and Social Issues. Philip here, your teacher, and for today's video, we'll be talking about framing effects. Okay, framing effects, and then I'm going to introduce to you framing effects, and then we're going to use it in Bam Aquino's authored bills, or some of Bam Aquino's authored bills. We will use Bam Aquino's authored bills as an example how framing effects have been used. Okay, so but first I'm going to introduce what is framing effects. I will shortly discuss it, define and discuss it, and explain to you very quickly together with my PowerPoint, and then identify some of Bam Aquino's authored bills and discuss how framing effects was used on those bills. Okay, by the way, this is not a campaign for a campaign or discrediting Bam Aquino. Okay, I am using just Bam Aquino's authored bills as an example for this particular discussion or for this particular theory. And probably in the coming videos that I'm going to make, I'll choose another bills authored by other politicians, just for you to understand and identify how framing effects was used. Okay, and if you're going to ask me whether to vote or not Bam Aquino, I cannot answer that because again I am these the bills that I'm going to choose under Bam Aquino's authorship is just for discussion purposes. Okay, whether to vote him or not is your decision. I have my own decision already, and that decision is personal, and I cannot share it to you. Okay, again, let's be clear. Again, people might get angry or people might be happy about this video or whatever. Again, the decision whether to vote him or not, it's up to you. Okay, so stay until the end of the video, so that I'm going to discuss everything, and then you comment, you thumbs up if you like the video, and then comment what part of the video you like. You thumbs down if you do not like the video, or identify what part of the video that you don't like for me to improve. Okay, so let's start. I'm going to share to you now my PowerPoint. Okay, first we have to understand what is framing effect. Okay, framing effect is discussed under cognitive psychology, especially in the topic of decision making. It is very important to understand framing effect because a lot of people, especially politicians, are using this one, especially during elections. And right now, there will be election this coming May 2025. And I want you to be familiar. Oh, I'm really sorry. Wait. I have to adjust the sound of my mic. Okay. Here. Somehow clear. Okay. So again, we have to be familiar with this technique or theory so that you will be oriented in choosing the right candidate which you believe can help the country. Okay? So let's proceed. What is framing effect? I presented here two descriptions of framing effects. First, framing effect is the way that the options are presented influences the selection of an option. Okay? So usually, as I've mentioned, this is under the topic decision making in cognitive psychology. So basically, the options presented to you has been positioned in a manner that can benefit a particular option. Okay? So, who's responsible in presenting that option? Anyone, especially those individuals or groups who would like to benefit that decision. O say for example, um, if the person would benefit your the yes answer or your yes answer, most likely the person will present the option favoring the yes effect. The same thing with the no. Okay? So it is something to do with how the information is presented to the recipient. Okay? What is another description of framing effect? It is a cognitive bias. From the term itself, bias, some kind of error. Okay? Where people's decisions are influenced by how information is presented. So this is what I mentioned. How the information is presented. Even when the underlying facts remain the same. Okay? Leading to different choices based on whether something is framed as gain or loss. Okay? So I hope it's clear. Now take note of the frame or the phrase leading to different choices based on whether something is framed as a gain or loss. Okay? What else? This is the last point. So we tend to choose options that demonstrate risk aversion. So we try to identify or choose an option that will limit the risk when we are faced with an option involving potential gains. Right now, again, there are, due to election, a lot of people campaigning, presenting themselves as someone who is good, better candidate. Okay, so you take note of that. And then most likely, we tend to choose the best candidate. Okay? But of course, you have to evaluate properly because especially on the programs that a particular candidate would like to address when they will be sitting in a specific position. Okay? So, for those individuals, of course, for example, I myself, when I started voting, during that time, I perceive education as the most important, and even until now. So that is why when the first time I voted presidential election, if I remember, I believe I remember it right that I voted for Raul Rocco, and who's the I think Gloria Macapagal Arroyo won that election if I remember it right. So because my concern, Raul Rocco framed himself as education concern, candidate whose concern is on education compared to other candidates. Okay, so he framed himself as something like that, an educator, which I believe he is or he was, and he may rest in peace. Okay, so that is, we tend to choose options offering a small but certain gain rather than a larger but uncertain gains. Unless the uncertain gain is either tremendously greater or only modestly less than certain. Okay, so again, framing effects happen to it in our day-to-day experiences. Say for example, investment or savings. A lot of people prefer savings because lesser loss, but at the same time, they can immediately use the money to their advantage compared to investment, higher risk. At the same time, they cannot immediately use the money when they need it. However, talking about the gains, by just simply saving, you cannot expect more gains through savings in the bank. However, you can expect higher gains in investing. Okay, this is a very good example. Now, let's proceed with another example. As I mentioned earlier, we are going to use Bam Aquino's authored bills. I have here, I identified here three. Okay, I'm not really sure if you can see it. This one. The first bill that I'm going to cover is the Republic Act 10931. Okay? Republic Act 10931. Wait, let me see. I don't know if you were able to see it. Oh, okay. Sorry, not 9031. Let me see. The 9031 is the Libreng Kolehiyo. Okay, this one is a Republic Act 10668, an act allowing foreign vessels to transport and co-load foreign cargoes for domestic transshipment and for other purposes. Okay, when this was presented, if I remember it right, 2015, okay, and this was approved, Bam Aquino was really proud, and I believe I was happy as well when he presented it because at the back of his mind, he said that the purpose of this bill is to lower the prices of all commodities, especially imported ones. And the result, first, to lower the cost because that will result to lower prices of commodities for consumers. What will happen? So, an imported goods from outside the country, before this bill has been approved, it will be delivered to the center, to Luzon in Manila. And then they will sort it out and then bring the goods to the different places of the Philippines where it should be. Okay? And that will take time, that will increase the landed cost of the commodities. Why? Because it will take time in the port, and then they will sort it, and then they need to spend another money to deliver the goods to the different places, to the areas of the Philippines. Okay? So, what will happen? Prices, when they're going to sell the goods to the consumers, of course, it will have higher prices. And right now, because of this bill, because of this law, imported items, when they arrive in the Philippines, after checking with the customs, if they pass the customs, immediately they can go to the different parts of the Philippines and immediately deliver it. That will save, that will lower the cost or the landed cost on the part of the business owners. However, okay, it was presented that way. Okay? Okay? It was presented that way. This is what I have evaluated. This is my opinion. This is my analysis. Again, you can correct me through the comment section if you think I am wrong. But again, this is for the purpose of discussion. Okay? Because I have my personal experience, I worked before in a retail industry. And based on my experience in the retail industry, if the landed cost of a particular items or commodities lowered than the previous purchase, business owners will not adjust the retail price so as to secure a higher profit. Just to secure a higher profit. Okay? And in the implementation of this law, it is guaranteed on the part of the business owners that they will have lower costs in all of their commodities. However, we do not have the assurance that when they're going to sell it in retail for the consumers, they are selling it in our advantage. Okay? Now, I'm going to ask you, did the prices of the commodities, especially the imported ones, lowered? Oh, you comment down. Oh, what I have observed is that they were not. Okay? The commodities, the prices of the commodities didn't drop. Yet, if you're going to look at it, the business owners gained higher what you call this one? Profit, I should say. Okay? So this is an excellent example of framing effect because the law was presented to be a benefit or presented to be of more benefit to the consumers. Because of the expectation that goods will lower their prices. Okay? However, the reality would be, again, as I mentioned, based on my experience, that the business owner gained more because of paying lower cost. Okay? So if you're going to say, what about Shopee? Of course, Shopee, I believe, is not included because Shopee, if you ordered in an imported or store, basically, the owners who benefited that one or who benefits that one are those international business owners, not the local ones. Okay? If you order from those local ones, it's coming from the local market already. Because the items in Shopee, most of them are on-hand items. Okay? Yeah. I thought I'm losing the... Okay? I believe I still have... say for example, let's just try to wrap this up because... another bill. Republic Act 10667. Competition Policy. Prohibiting anti-competitive agreements under Aquino still. No? I appreciated the law. It's because it encourages competition. And at the same time, it encourages good product as well. Okay, this one. I'm going to show you. This one. See? Republic Act 10667. Okay? You can read the details of it in the internet. Okay? So what's the idea? Again, it's very good law. Very good law. Again, the result is to have good products for the consumers. However, if I'm going to look at closely underneath, there's a danger on the part of small business owners. Why? If a small business owner develops a really good business or a good industry, those bigger companies or established companies, it is easier for them to compete those those business owners who are just starting. And eventually, the new business owners, their business eventually will die. Okay? Well, others will buy it. So there's no really protection. Okay, that's what I am seeing. Again, you may correct me if you believe I am wrong. Again, this is just for the sake of discussion on the theory of framing effect. Okay? So I still have here the libreng kolehiyo, but I believe the time is we don't have enough time. Maybe we'll discuss this one in the next video. Still under framing effect. Okay. Now, to wrap this up, now again, I will remind everyone that this is not to campaign Bam Aquino or to discredit Bam Aquino. I believe these bills are really good. This is for the benefit of everyone. Okay? However, the question now is, does Bam Aquino was not really not able to see the downside of these bills or of these laws? Okay? Now, for me personally, I believe that's an issue. If you are a candidate, if you're a politician, and if you do not know how to evaluate a specific law that you are crafting, I believe that's dangerous. Same thing to what happened to this one. No? You are thinking of the purpose of the benefit of everyone, yet what happened is that it becomes, it is now focusing, the law now focuses more on the benefit of the specific group of people. Okay? And to close, now the media, there are a lot of people promoting Bam Aquino. Well, that's their right. Okay, again, I believe that's a really good example of framing effect still. Why? Because they said Bam Aquino is one of the greatest senators because he authored several bills. Now my question, does quantity follow quality? Personally, I would say no. It does not follow that a person or a senator proposed or authored a lot of bills, immediately or automatically he addressed the most pressing concerns of the country. Because in fact, looking at these, some of Bam Aquino's authored bills, they do not address the most pressing concerns of the Filipino people. I believe this is the reason why for several elections, he did not win. Okay? So look at this one, the two bills I presented. Most likely, they focus more on business side. Which I believe, they are still useful. But again, they do not address the most pressing concerns of the Filipino people. Okay? So, again, the question whether to vote Bam Aquino or not, that is not my concern here. You make your own decision, evaluate properly, careful of the framing effects that the politicians are using right now, especially in the social media. And I have already made my own decision who to vote this coming election, and I cannot share it with you because that's a personal decision. Okay? So I hope you learned something, especially in our topic today, framing effects. Okay? And please, if you've reached on this part of the video, please like and share the video, and then please do comment down what are your thoughts about this one. Okay? So thank you very much and see you in the next video.